And it says we are live. So, hello everyone. I am Sandhills Shooter, and wanted to do a real quick chat tonight. I know that not everybody is here yet. I didn't want to walk too much on the weekly chat for Mr. Matt Vlogs or Never Enough Ammo's channel, but I wanted to get this out here before it got too late in the week because we do have a two-way capital rally coming up. Hopefully, every state capital is going to have a rally going on this Saturday, April 14th, 1 o'clock Central Time, which means, but we're trying to schedule these for all at the same time. So if you're in the Eastern Time Zone, your rally starts at 2. If you're in Mountain Time, at noon, Pacific Time, 11 o'clock. I don't know the exact number of hours to subtract, but in Honolulu, pretty sure that that's going to be pretty early. So we hope to see people on the Capitol steps there too. I want to welcome Trish Harold. She is she is Empress of the Nebraska Firearms Owners Association. We call it NFOA for short. So Trish, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. We're really excited to talk about the rally that we're hosting. It is literally a grassroots rally made up of multiple organizations who have come together to basically establish ourselves as law-abiding gun owners who are not going to stand aside and let our rights be taken away by people who don't understand our history or the purpose behind the Second Amendment.
Awesome. And I am very proud to say that I am a member of the NFOA. And so very, very happy to have found your organization. We do have an addition to our panel. Garrett, I muted you there for a second while you were getting situated. So I'll go ahead and unmute you. You can unmute yourself or mute yourself there from the top of the Hangouts. It's my understanding that Trish and Garrett both are almost as new to these Hangouts chats as I am. So we're going to kind of learn how to do this together. I do apologize, those of you that are watching and think that this is going to be as well polished as a Travis P11 or a Never Enough Ammo chat. It's not going to be, but we're going to get this info out. So, all right. So, Garrett, let me go ahead and throw that back off of mute there. Maybe you have to unmute yourself. Just touch the little, tap the screen and then touch the little microphone there, and it should take you off mute. Still muted. That's not what I wanted. Looks like you maybe turned off your camera. You need to touch the other one now. I know it can be kind of frustrating to figure out the controls on the Hangouts chat the first time or two you do it. Go ahead, tap the screen so our little pictures disappear, and you'll see the hang up button. You'll see the camera and the microphone, and it looks like maybe they both have a strike through them. Go ahead and tap that microphone, Garrett. You will. There's your camera back. Now tap the other side where it's a microphone. You should be unmuted once you hit that. We'll get him. We'll get you in here. You're close, man. You're finding your camera on and off. And it looks like you're talking to me from your phone, so there should be the sound mute right beside or right at the bottom there where you are. I had to go live before it got too late, so I didn't get the luxury of letting Garrett get in here and figure this out before we went live. So it's not his fault. He was doing dad detail. So that family stuff comes first. I think he'll come back in. He'll get it figured out. In the meantime, Trish, let me see here. There was a question I was going to ask you. Oh, somebody on the YouTube side here, Ben White, wants to know if we can carry rifles. Hey, Garrett's back. There you are. I should
All
be
right.
able to hear you. Hey, there you are.
Yeah, okay, now you can hear me.
I can hear you. Okay, so correct me if I'm saying your name wrong. This is Garrett. Is it Croct?
Croft, yeah.
Okay, Garrett Croct, go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are, and why you're important to this rally.
Well, I've been really strong with Second Amendment rights, and I think we all need to stand up. It's time. Everybody seems to be standing up against it, and I think it's a big mistake, and we all got to stand for it. It's just my
Amen.
thoughts.
Amen, brother. All righty. So, all right, we've got one more panelist that is finishing up over on a different chat, and then he's going to be with us. So, real quick here, I wanted to talk a little bit just about the rally that we had back in November before we get into the April rally here. So, Trish, what would you say we had in Nebraska last time? We had about 70 people.
We had about 70 people. We had about 2 weeks to plan this rally. It came to our attention that there was a nationwide movement, and someone brought it to my attention with NFOA, and I thought, oh, what the heck, let's see what we can do. And it came together incredibly. It was a wonderful rally. We had people from all over the state. It was an opportunity to meet you and your lovely wife, and I was so grateful for you volunteering to help us with your equipment. That really made a huge difference. We had the opportunity to listen to some of our best senators in the unicameral insofar as those who support the Second Amendment and do so without any reservation. So we had Senator Laura Epke. We had, Senator Hilger sent a message. We had some folks running for Senate also speak. We also had folks like Chris Baker and Joe Herring, who are fantastic speakers and obviously great supporters of the Second Amendment. It was a wonderful opportunity to basically just gather together and show Nebraskans are in support of our rights to carry, and we've instilled it even further in our Constitution with Article 1, Section 1. It's a great thing to read if you haven't read that before.
It is. I love Article 1, Section 1 in my state's constitution, and I wish more states would be able to say that they have that. The very first thing you read in our state's constitution, for those of you that aren't from Nebraska, is basically a almost a carbon copy of our Second Amendment in the U.S. Constitution. So it is good to be from a state who, right there in the Constitution, makes sure that nobody's taking our guns away, as long as they're following the constitutional law anyway. We'll get into that more at the rally. We don't have enough time to talk about all of the infringements that are happening across our great land right now. We do have our fourth and final panelist has finally made it over from his other chat. Travis P11, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. How you doing this evening?
Oh, it's been awesome. I wasn't much on Matt's chat just because I was trying to get this figured out. A few of you that were in Tulsa this weekend saw me do my first live chat, my first live hangouts from the computer, which I had never done before. I've always been on these on my phone, and I'd never hosted one. So thanks to Travis P11, thanks to Never Enough Ammo for helping me out getting those going. And hopefully this could be a fun thing to do. Yes, John Z, I am wearing my camo hat. Thanks for noticing.
I remember somewhere. I think mine's upstairs on the table.
So Garrett, like I said, we didn't have time to get you as involved on here as what the rest of us sometimes do, but we are live right now on YouTube, and if you have a way to share the link, go ahead and do that. Live YouTube on the Sandhills Shooter channel. So you're going out to the whole world right now, man.
Oh, wow.
No pressure.
Yeah.
So we had a rally back in November, and like Trish said, it only took we only had about 2 weeks to get this thing going, and Trish and her crew with the NFOA were just amazing. I think by the time that I sent an email to NFOA, I think you guys already knew that this was going. So now that we've got more time to plan, I'm really hoping that we've gotten the word out. I think Travis maybe was the person who came the farthest back in November from Lexington, Nebraska. So
Gonna do it again, man. Gonna do it again.
Yeah, heck yeah. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, and we don't have a blizzard.
Or tornado.
But I'd really like to see somebody from the Panhandle. I'd like to see somebody from all parts of Nebraska make it to this rally. And if you can't make it, maybe you're in Iowa or South Dakota or Kansas, and you can't get to your state capital, Topeka, Des Moines, Pierre, they're not close to you, and you want to make it to Lincoln, the more the merrier. We'd love to have you. It doesn't matter what state you're from. If you want to join us, please do. So 1 o'clock Central Time on the West Steps of the Capitol building in Lincoln. Which street is that? I don't remember now. I don't know my Lincoln geography. But if you can find the Capitol in Lincoln, you can find the rally.
Side.
Yeah.
Okay. So Garrett and Trish, I guess Garrett, I'll let you go first. What do we have to look forward to so far for this rally? What do we have as far as who's gonna be there? As far as speakers, as far as attendees that you know of, what can we look for?
We have a lot of great speakers. We have Todd Watson. He's running for Congress. Not Congress. He's running. Yeah. And then we have Taylor Royal. He's running for our treasurer. And then we have Don Bacon's one of his top guys, but he runs like a Patriots deal at the college down here in Omaha. And then I'm terrible remembering some of the names right now, but there's about a good 10 speakers that are worth coming in to see. And everybody's just looking to have fun and hang out and hear some good stuff.
Awesome. And I was talking to Trish a little bit before we went live here. So you haven't been doing as much of the actual organizing as you've been helping Garrett. It sounds like maybe. So what can you add? What can we look for this weekend, Trish?
Well, one of the things that really, really matters about coming together is we've all seen what's on the news. We read what's in the papers. We see what's online, and the misinformation is everywhere. And we tend to be, as law-abiding citizens, kind of relaxed, and we believe that logic will prevail. But now is the time, really. Now is the time. We cannot sit back. We cannot assume that logic will prevail. The amount of misinformation is just appalling. And we're really, literally being villainized. Demonized. What I get called on occasion is pretty shocking. And I know these people don't know me, and they don't know anything about my life or who I am or what I stand for or what I've ever done. But right now we see what happens in Lincoln, for instance. We just had the bump stock ban get passed in the city council. And city council members were even, making note that this was just feel-good legislation, that literally we are not saving any lives by banning this accessory that facilitates a faster fire method. And so this is really about creating that image and empowering and engaging our citizens to make a difference.
Okay. Yeah, the bump stock issue is definitely a hotly debated topic right now. I really was surprised to hear that they pushed that through so quickly in the city of Lincoln, mostly because none of us can figure out why. We don't have any evidence that a bump stock's ever been used to commit a crime. Even in Las Vegas, the last I heard, there is no conclusive evidence yet that a bump stock was actually used to commit that crime. We do, of course, know that the perpetrator had bump stocks, but the last I have heard, the ballistics have not ever matched any of the recovered bullets to any of the firearms that were fitted with bump stocks. So they're on there, but we still don't know that animal actually used one to commit the crime that he did. So I'm not going to say his name, but I was surprised that I didn't realize Lincoln was having such an issue with these things, I guess.
Well, the thing that we in Nebraska need to remember is Lincoln and Omaha are our largest populated places in our state. And our state is actually quite purple compared to red. When you look at all the laws around us in comparison to what we have in Nebraska, we have people like John Moranti, who's also coming to the rally to speak. He's running for treasurer as well. And one of the things that really needs to be established is the Second Amendment is not a Republican right. It's not a Democratic right. It's not a libertarian right. It is an American citizen's right. And we have people coming from all walks of life and wanting to share their shared values. And we have to engage at the political level, and we have to become active citizens, because otherwise these folks who simply feel good about passing a law or an ordinance are going to continue to do so because they're ignorant and they only want to get voted back into office. And we need to take a stand against that.
It's a dangerous thing when we're basing legislation off of trying to get votes. It's also a dangerous thing, in my opinion, when we're basing legislation off of emotions rather than logic and intellectualism. One of my first things I tell people is if you're a parent, you and your child is disobedient or does something bad, and you're angry and you're very mad at that child, is that the time to decide the punishment for the child? No, you don't. Even if you're the type of parent that spanks. And I'm not going to talk tonight about whether or not that's good or bad. But if you're the type of parent that spanks your kid, you don't do it when you're angry. You do it when you're calm. Because when you're emotional, you don't make good decisions.
No.
And when we're emotional, we don't make good legislation either.
No, not at all.
So I've been saying that for a long time now, that it bothers me that we're basing all of our legislation lately off of our emotions. And I think you really hit it right on the head too, Trish, when you had said that. Well, I don't remember exactly how you had said that, but there are a lot of things that are going on right now with the way that we're doing our legislation, and people they're not using the facts. We think that common sense will prevail. We think that logic will prevail, and I think sometimes the people on our side of the argument get caught up in statistics and facts, and we think that we're going to sway people's opinion or change their mind. And it's just not going to happen. They don't care about logic or facts. They've shown us this. They care about emotion and outrage, and the fact that if they're super angry, then that must make them right. And whether or not that's the right way to do things, that's the way it is. And I think that we need to start maybe trying to take a page out of that book. Now, I don't want to act like certain people, that get into these arguments, but at the same time, if we're not going to win this battle by appealing to logic and using statistics and facts, then maybe we need to find a way to express our opinions and our viewpoints that are based on feelings, and take that, do a little, what do they call it, political judo, and take their momentum and use it against them.
Right. And I think one of the things I was really excited about when Garrett reached out to us was he was representing several other small grassroots organizations that make an impact across the nation. And he wanted to increase their presence in Nebraska and create a coalition. And one of the things that I appreciated about what he said was we need to humanize the Second Amendment issue from our perspective. And that's what we failed to do. We use logic, we used reason, and now we need to show the human side of it. These are people who have families, who have children, who have loved ones, who have wives, who have husbands, who have businesses, and they have a right, a human right, to defend themselves from evil. We're not talking about it from the perspective of, is it a mental health issue? Is it not? In the end, it doesn't matter. If someone's coming to do harm to me and they're not going to listen to my requests to stop, or stop at my locked door, or ignore my alarm system, then I'm left with very few choices beyond calling 911 and waiting 7 minutes and hoping somebody arrives at my house. That's not a state I want to be in. And I really appreciate Garrett bringing that up and bringing these groups together and helping us form this coalition.
Well, and I think that's something too that I want everybody to understand is, unlike the supposedly grassroots movement that we had here a few weeks ago, the March on the Capitol in Washington, Now, I'm not going to say that wasn't a good march, because thank God I live in a country where we have the right to do such a thing. Just because I don't agree with the viewpoint doesn't mean that it's wrong, and that's
Right.
taken me a lot of years to finally understand. But I can appreciate an opposing viewpoint as long as it's well thought out, and the person that has that viewpoint knows why they feel that way. But this is a true grassroots movement. I mean, we're not getting federal funding. We're not getting nationwide. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that we don't have a nationwide because we do. But this isn't the NRA doing this. This isn't the GOA doing this. This is a lot of local chapters, a lot of real people. We're not going to get any kind of an agenda pushed through besides the things that we want to say and that we want to have happen at each rally. So I'm very, very proud that, again, we can come together as regular people, I guess I want to say. I'm not in the political domain. I've got a day job. I've got a part-time job that I do on weekends, neither one of which gets into politics. Now, what I choose to do to fight for my freedoms, again, that sometimes I guess borders on politics, but this is something that, again, I'm a regular person, and I know that the three of you are as well, and everybody out there listening is as well. So I just want to see everybody that we can show up to these rallies. Like I said, tonight I'm talking about my state's rally there in Lincoln, Nebraska. Those of you that aren't in Nebraska, do what you can to show up to your rallies or support it in some way. Travis, I haven't really gotten to you a whole lot, and I know, of course, that you and I aren't on the organizing end of this. But what do you want to see happen, or what do you want to look for, or I guess what do you hope to see happen in Lincoln on Saturday?
I'm hoping to see a lot more people. I can tell you that. I just think that a lot of people have gotten complacent and maybe a little bit lazy about their 2A rights with the election of Trump because they thought that he was our guy, right? And as we can see, he pretty much plays to whatever. He's the original fair weather fan. He just goes with whoever's winning at the time. Now, that's my opinion from what I'm seeing with him not standing up for his 2A advocates. So hopefully people realize that that's not a sure thing with him in office, and who knows what's going to happen when he's gone. So the best is start acting now, because we're going to start getting the death by 1,000 cuts, so to speak, with all these little, nicks and cuts into our freedom that we're starting to run into right now.
Yeah, exactly. The death of 1,000 cuts. I say all the time that they're not taking any one big piece away from us, but they're just chipping away little by little. I always tell people the Grand Canyon wasn't cut overnight. It was eroded slowly over thousands or millions of years, just by constant taking a little bit here and there. And now look at the Grand Canyon. It's a mile deep, and I don't want my rights to get that deep. So I'm going to do everything I can within my power. One more thing that I always tell people too. I've got a lot of people around Nebraska, a lot of friends that they don't want to get as active and as involved as what I want to, or as what the three of you want to. But everybody kind of has the same sentiment that they're sharing with me as we're talking. Of course, they don't say it very loudly, but everybody kind of feels the same way, which is if they want my guns, they can try to come take them, but they're not getting them. And I agree that is the way that we need to feel. But at the same time, why don't we do something before it gets to that point? Why would we want it to ever get to the point where somebody has to pry my gun out of my cold, dead hands? I don't want my hands to be cold and dead because of this issue. And so if you can hear me, then I want you to do something. If you're watching this chat, more than likely it's because you're like-minded, and there's something that you can do. It doesn't matter how small you think it is. If you can't make it to your rally, then call your government officials, your local councilman, your state officials, your federal senators, representatives, governor, whatever you can. Let everybody know how you feel. Let everybody know that you expect them to represent you as a voter, and if they refuse to represent you, that you'll spend your vote or you'll cast your vote for somebody that will. But we definitely can do a lot of things, and these rallies are good for raising public awareness and maybe give us a chance to maybe get some of our viewpoints out there, so that not just the mainstream media gets the point, but we get to say, maybe something a little bit different that people haven't heard before. Like I said, the biggest thing is we're regular people. We like to own guns. We like to carry guns. Some of us, we use our guns for a lot of different things, whether it's for protection or for hunting or for sport, or just because we like to go out on a Sunday afternoon with the family and do some plinking or something like that. There's so many different things that people use guns for, and over 99% of it is not crime. And over 99% of the gun owners are not criminals. And I don't really see why we need to punish the 99% because 1% can't make good choices. So that's kind of how I feel. Now, I do also want to talk a little bit about what could possibly happen, and hopefully nothing goes down at any of these rallies, even if we have a few people that don't feel the way we do and they want to gather, maybe across the street or mix in with us, and just maybe say things that we don't agree with, or ask the hard questions. So I kind of want to go around the room here a little bit. Garrett, I guess when you're in a conversation with somebody and it's somebody who doesn't like guns or doesn't believe that we should have all the guns that we have or whatever, how do you answer something like, why do you need an AR-15 that holds 30 rounds? What do you say to somebody like that?
Okay, one thing, this is all our right. Okay, this isn't just just a few. To have an AR-15, I mean, we are the protection of this country. We're the reason why there has never been a foot on our shores ever. There never will be any other boots from any other country on the soil of our country. For one. Two, people use them for sporting. We a lot of us go to the range. A lot of us hunt with them. What everybody uses them for.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they should be within our rights to have equal to what our government does. Plain and simple. I mean, that's how the Second Amendment was meant to be written.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see having it any other way. I mean, one man can't do this all. Trump can't do it all. And, our senators, they're not going to do it all unless we stand up a little bit and talk about it, So.
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
exactly right. And yeah, you hit it right on. I mean, it's not necessarily about what we need. And yeah, we all know, I guess, in here what people use ARs for, but I think that there's that big misinformation out there. I think too many people don't understand what an AR-15 or what that 5.56 round actually does, or rather, what it doesn't do. Because I tell you what, I have seen people shoot deer-sized game with a 223 or a 5.56, and it's not the ideal cartridge for that. It won't explode a deer. It's not heavy enough. It's not. You really got to be a crack shot in order to ethically kill a deer with something like that. You should have something with way more power behind it than that. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Trish, I know that you have to deal with this a lot, being part of the NFOA. It's something that you deal with probably daily in one form or another. So when people come up to you and call you those nasty things that you've been called, what do you do with that? How do you, I guess, keep your cool and not get into a shouting match? What's your trick?
Well, I have to realize where they're coming from, and typically they're coming from a place of fear. It's fear of the unknown or fear of the misinformation. So they've been given a bunch of facts that were wrong and incorrect. They have an idea that gun owners or gun ownership makes people threatening, makes people violent, that somehow placing that tool in your hand will make you a mass murderer. And they don't understand that logic would then mean every time we sit down for a steak at Texas Roadhouse, we all have the same chances of turning into what's happening in the United Kingdom with all those knifings. So what I do is I sit back and I remember they're coming from a place of fear. And so with no disrespect, when someone is afraid, they're not thinking logically, they're thinking emotionally, and it's not personal. I can remember times when I'm afraid. I'm not thinking rationally either. And so when you're dealing with someone in that state of mind and you remember that's their state of mind, then you can depersonalize the attack. You can remember that it's coming from a place of fear. And then I think about the outcome. What is the outcome I want to achieve? Well, I want them not to be fearful. I want them not to be afraid. I want them to see me for who I really am. And so I take it that route. I put my best foot forward and I show them exactly who I am as a human being. I'm a fellow citizen. I'm a mom. I work full time. I own a few companies. I'm a volunteer. I probably have 99% more things in common with them than we have different. And so I try to reach them from that point of view. And I show respect and deference for their position and their preferences. And I think that by being a role model, I have a better chance of reducing their fear and even possibly changing their mind. And that's the biggest thing. It is not a moot point. There are people whose minds can be changed. I work with women across the entire state of Nebraska and several other states around us, women who are coming to firearms. Some of them are coming for reasons of personal defense, others are curious. But so many have had to overcome an incredible amount of fear. And so I learned to understand that fear and know where it comes from. And what I love is seeing that joy that comes to their face when they learn how to be safe and responsible and successful at shooting and marksmanship. And that's something I encourage too. We are the first house in Nebraska, our citizens are, but there's a lot more that you can do than just writing letters. You can take friends and family to the range. You can take them to your farm, put up some targets, show them that it's a family experience. One of the things I love is watching my 14-year-old daughter share her passion for firearms and talk about responsible ownership. She's the next generation. We literally have to nurture the next generation because while we're fighting now, what is the next generation going to do? Are they going to be the same as us? Or are they going to never have this love for what we so strongly believe in?
And maybe not only are they going to have the love or not, but also are they going to be able to even fight the fight? Are they going to have any of the freedoms when they're our age that they have right now or that we have right now? Or are any of those going to be taken away in the meantime? And how do we, people always talk about conservation and, recycling and stuff in the environment. My wife always makes sure that I don't throw things in the trash can that can be recycled. Mm-hmm. Because we want to protect this earth and leave it so that we still have a clean planet for our nephews or the next generations coming along. Mm-hmm. Now, why would we not feel the same way about our government and about our laws and about our freedoms? Why do we want to leave a wasteland of no freedom, a wasteland of oppression to our kids and our grandkids and our nephews and nieces? I don't want that for them. And so yeah, that makes a very good point. Now I know there's some talk in the YouTube chat here a little bit about some of these arguments. I know I didn't catch most of it, but I know last night on Ghost Tactical on his Tactical Tuesday chat, we talked or they talked about the same thing. Travis, if I remember right, you were actually part of that chat. So can you give me just a couple of highlights, when there are these arguments and people try to argue a little bit, what can you pass along to people that maybe we don't get a chance to talk to people tomorrow or on Saturday, who disagree with us, but I'm really hoping that we can. I'm hoping we can get some good back and forth discussion and some discourse going on. So what things would you say, your own thoughts, and then maybe a few ideas or good things that came out of that Ghost Tactical chat?
Yeah, the chat, we did some role play. Ghost approached each of us in the panel differently. He asked us the question with all kinds of different angles. Why do you think you need an AR-15? Why does anyone need an AR-15? And no matter what you said, he was able to counter that argument. And I think it's a good practice for those of us that are firearms owners, because sometimes, well, because I can, that's not always the right answer, because that's not going to help the person see your view on things. So when he got to me, I listened to the other 5 or 6 people that responded, and I was trying not to repeat their answers because they were all fantastic answers. I said, first of all, we have the right to organize as a militia. According to our Second Amendment, we have a right to bear arms, and I need arms that I can use to defend myself against a tyrannical government. And he goes, well, in what period in American history has the American government ever disarmed any group of Americans or any group of American citizens? And I said, oh, I don't know. Let's check with any Native Americans and see how that turned out for them when they were disarmed in the, late 1800s, I believe. And he's like, oh, okay, good point. So, well, how about maybe the Japanese population that was put in internment camps that was forced to surrender their weapons? So if you sit here and think that something can't happen, that our country can't slip into absolute chaos, I think you're absolutely wrong. Now, some of the other examples that we had were people that were able to defend their property without firing a shot during the LA riots back in the 90s. That was another example of it. For me, I think about disaster situations. I remember watching footage from, help me out here, what was a hurricane that we had down in Louisiana, the flooding? I'm completely drawing a blank here. Louisiana, New Orleans flooding that we had back 01, 02, 03. Which one was that? Not Katrina.
Not Katrina?
No, this was back in the early 2000s. There were people, there's footage of looters that were going into all these stores, and there were people standing out front of their stores defending their property. Natural disasters. We live in the middle of Tornado Alley. Okay, I mean, you might say, well, you don't have a constitutional right to defend yourself if there's weather. Well, no, but that weapon is going to be there if I needed to defend my home, defend my property from looters, etc. So there's a lot of reasons why, but for me, it's mainly defense against a tyrannical government, defense against invaders. Foreign invader, and look what happened. Look what's happened to other countries that have completely disarmed their populace. Either the government has complete control over those people. Okay, examples maybe like China or other places, or those countries get invaded by other countries, and the people have no way to defend themselves. Look at the Mideast. Kind of thing happens all the time. You've got groups that come into their countries and rule and do whatever they want because the people don't have guns. So I mean, there's a billion reasons why you can tell a person why they should have an AR-15. So not sometimes just saying, well, because the Second Amendment says they can, because as we're seeing, states like Massachusetts are putting down the gauntlet, and there's Supreme Court decisions that say, no, you don't have a right to an AR-15. And that's blowing my mind right now, because it's like the entire original 13 colonies are being lost to the gun grabbers. And it's happening right now. We're seeing it happen in front of our very eyes. And it started here in Lincoln with the elimination of bump fire stocks. So,
My wife is saying that might have been Hurricane Ivan you're thinking of.
Oh no, what was our New Orleans flooding that we had back in? That wasn't. I don't think it was Ivan. I'll have to look it up here, and I'll let you guys know.
Anyway, pick a hurricane. A hurricane's a great example.
Any natural disaster. Yeah.
A hurricane or an earthquake where we get that looting, we get all that stuff. Just pick earlier, just last year, in Texas. Who is it? One of the people on gun channels, is it Sean Connery? Somebody actually has a story about getting fired upon while he's out in a boat trying to rescue people in Texas. I believe, what is it, Houston?
It was Houston, in the Houston area. He went out with a group of National Guardsmen to go help rescue people that were stuck in their properties. Yeah.
Had his lever action Marlin 4570, I believe, with him, and actually got fired upon and had to return fire to provide enough cover that these National Guardsmen could get citizens out on their boat. So don't tell me that we can't have something where we slip into a sense of chaos or anarchy very quickly. I definitely agree with you there. I know G-Web's made a very good point last night too, the little bit that I got to hear about the riots in Los Angeles back in, 1992, I believe, that were spurred by the acquittal of the officers in the Rodney King beating trial. And the officers got acquitted. The people in LA did not like that, and they rioted. And for 6 days, the SWAT teams and the LAPD would not touch that area. It was too hot. They couldn't go in there. And the residents, the people that lived there, were just stuck. They couldn't call the cops. And we had people that, again, literally did use firearms and high-capacity magazines to hold off an angry mob. And it was the only thing that kept them from being overrun and losing their life and losing not just their life, but their livelihood, their store, all that stuff. So, I mean, we have these examples time after time. Unfortunately, again, facts and logic aren't always the thing that works in an argument. But yeah, very good stuff, guys. I'm glad to have all of your viewpoints. I think we've kind of covered most of what I wanted to talk about tonight. Again, this Saturday, April 14th, in any state capital, if you can get to it. But I would love to have everybody make it that can to our state capital. And I believe that is on K Street is the west side. I think you found that.
I'll post a link to it on the YouTube side if you can mod
Okay.
me. If you want to, you can give me the moderator privilege real quick. I'll put that over there. And
can I do that? How do I do that?
I think you just click on my name over on the YouTube side, and there's an option. You can click on that says Make Moderator.
Let me find you.
I haven't done it for such a long time, but yeah, if you go to Facebook and just look up two Capital 2A rallies or Nebraska, type in rally at the Capitol and then Lincoln, Nebraska, it'll pop up. The link is right there. So otherwise, we'll get it posted for you guys in this video. We can put it in there, and then we'll put it on the chat over there on YouTube.
Cool. Okay, that should be done, Travis. So you can go ahead and do such a thing now.
Go ahead and do it now. Okay, cool. All right, so I'll post a link for you guys if you want to go check out some information. It'd be awesome to have you guys. And if your state doesn't have rallies, or you have maybe just little get-togethers, you don't even know where to start, come look at what we do. Look at how we run it. Look how people conduct themselves. Look at how we communicate and get everything set up with our government. And I'm sure Patricia will be willing to communicate with you guys on how to set up, who to call, like who to talk to, what do you need to know? Because I remember we had the Nebraska State Patrol at the November rally, very professional, and they were there for our safety. They were there for everybody's safety. So have you guys discussed what's going to be our policy, what we need to know if somebody wishes to carry at this rally?
We haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay.
I will leave that up to Trish and Garrett.
Sure.
You two would know more, but I know what happened last time. I know that we were not actually considered a political event. That concealed carry is not allowed on Capitol grounds, but open carry was allowed on the Capitol grounds, provided that we didn't enter the Capitol building. That is a no-no. But we were able to open carry, and again, Nebraska State Patrol and Lincoln Police were both there, witnessed the open carry. We had no issues whatsoever. We also had no issues with anybody trying to cause problems. We were very blessed with that. But what do we need to do, Trish? I'll let you go ahead and start. And then one more thing while you're talking, Trish. Anybody who's curious about their own rally or how to get something going in their state, I would encourage them maybe to reach out to you or to the NFOA. So would you maybe give that contact info or the website or an email address where you can be reached with that also?
Certainly. Okay, so open carry is absolutely permitted on the grounds of the state capitol outside. There are no ordinances in Lincoln that prohibit open carry, whether you're talking about handguns or rifles. I just went through chapter 9.36, which you can find through an easy Google search. Beyond the standard prohibited places like domestic violence shelters and courts, city buildings and so forth, you're fine. We had a wonderful time talking to the Nebraska State Patrol while I was open carrying and while I was giving my speeches with my firearm on my side, and there was no issue. The big thing, of course, is we're facing weather potentially this Saturday, and so we want to be mindful of what we're wearing and how we're wearing it so that we don't go from open carrying to concealed carry without intending to. So that's something to keep in mind. Your other question about hosting events like this in your own cities, it's actually quite simple. Every state capital or state location will have a primary point of contact, basically a facilities manager, and you request the person who provides permits for assembly. Usually it's 1 page, 2 page. They ask for points of contact, purpose of the rally, length of the rally, or whatever event you're having. It's very easy to fill out. Typically it takes less than a week to get a response back. We've done the permit process there at the state capitol a few times, and it was very simple. We never had an issue.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, Garrett. Oh yeah, your contact info, Trish. If somebody
Great.
does want to reach out, how does one reach you at the NFOA?
So the best place to go first is nebraskafirearms.org. I'm going to go there now just so I can direct you in the right direction. There is a way to contact us right off of the website.
You can actually screen share too, Trish, if you want to.
Oh, that's technology beyond me.
Okay, we won't walk you through that. I won't waste people's time watching this.
Yeah.
Reference if
So,
I'm you back as a guest.
If you go to nebraskafirearms.org, you can go to the board of directors page, which is basically under our additional information link. And we have a form you can fill out. The first person that's there is me. So I welcome any one of you to reach out to me this way. It's the fastest. It'll send me an email directly to me and I'll get it and I'll respond. We do have a phone number you can call, but that basically goes to a voicemail. So we prefer folks to send us an email. One of the things I really want to encourage is that membership in the Nebraska Firearm Owners Association is free. We are a 501c4 organization. We are a lobbying organization. So we are the local grassroots lobbyists who represent Nebraskans. We're not the NRA. We're not GOA. We are Nebraskans for Nebraskans. And every member that joins us adds to my credibility when I go to the unicameral and I lobby to represent your voice. Most of us have jobs. Most of us can't take time to get off work to go talk to the senators or go to a hearing. That's my job. I volunteered to do that. And when I can sit there at a hearing and say I have 20,000 Nebraskans standing behind me and I'm representing their voices, it's very powerful. So I really, really hope you guys will join us.
Yes, and it is very nice to have someone in Lincoln who does represent what I care about, at least as far as the Second Amendment issues go. So thank you very much for that. All right, so and again, like Trish said, everybody, membership to the NFOA is free. So we are not using membership money or anything like that to help advance the cause. So anybody who wants to donate to the NFOA, I know Trish will never ask for those donations, but I know that she will never turn them down. So that's very important. And I can tell you from experience, both with I've known Trish now since November when we were speaking before the rally and at the rally, and I've gotten to know her quite a bit through different chats and emails and Facebook since then too. And I can tell you for a fact that the NFOA is nothing like, and I'm not going to say NRA because I want to make the distinction, the ILA. The NFOA is nothing like the ILA as far as being willing to trade away freedoms or compromise any of my rights as a Nebraska gun owner. So the NFOA is very much the same mindset that I am. We are not willing to budge or give one more inch. And I very much appreciate that you guys are the real deal, and that by you guys, I guess I mean me being a member too. So I'm very much appreciative that we are the real deal. So thank you, Trish. Garrett, now I know that we muted you again. There was a motorcycle or something going by in the background there. So have you been able to find the unmute button? I put you back on the spot there again. You should be able, like I said, if you're on your phone, you should be able just to tap the screen and our pictures will go away and you'll have the hang up button and then you'll have the camera on or off and the mute on or off on either side of the hang up button. There you go.
All right.
There you go. You got me now?
Got it.
Got you, man.
You're in business now. Okay, so now you are with, and I'm going to stumble all over these initials. So you are with, is it NACCP?
I'm with a couple different organizations.
Okay.
No, I'm a member of the NFOA, and I get around with people, but yeah, just trying to get all this thing going, and hope everybody shows up, and
absolutely.
We got a lot
absolutely. Now, I would encourage not just the three of you, but everyone watching the chat. We're still up to 19 viewers right now. I would encourage everybody to share the links to the rally. If you want to share the Nebraska rally, please do. But at the very least, share the 2A Capital Rally links for your own state. I do know that you can go to Facebook, and there is a Facebook page just that's called 2A Capital Rally, and capital is CAPITOL. It means the building, not the town. From there, you can find a link to the rally for your respective state. So anybody that wants to be involved, if you haven't figured out how to get involved yet, that's a great place to start. And then also, again, you can reach out to the NFOA. You can reach out to the NACCP, any of the other grassroots organizations in your state. If they don't know about these rallies, by golly, it's only 3 days away. They better find out about them quick. So reach out to them and find out what they know. But any other questions that you guys would have, feel free to, again, reach out to Trish. I know that I can forward any emails as well. You can reach me at sandhillshooter@gmail.com. So real quick, I think we're going to kind of wrap this up. I appreciate the three of you very much for joining, especially Garrett and Trish for learning how to do these Hangouts chats with me on the fly. So we'll just kind of go around the horn here. Closing thoughts, Garrett.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. I mean, this rally's for all of us. This is our right. I mean, anybody who can make it, I really hope they would. And we put a lot of thought and work into it. And, you know, I really hope everybody comes.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, thanks a bunch. Trish, real quick, I am seeing one question here that the chat's been kind of going. I haven't really been looking at it too much over on the YouTube side, but I do have a question for somebody. Can non-Nebraskans join?
Right. So our formal membership, when we have really kind of two forms of membership. One is for Nebraskans, and that's a formal membership, and they're allowed to vote on certain, obviously, legislation to let us know where our members who are Nebraska residents wish us to vote or lobby for. And then we have a ton of non-Nebraskans who are also members of NFOA, and we have an online forum which you can join from the website. And it's a great alternative to other social media that maybe isn't so Second Amendment friendly. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about on that forum. We do not have any censorship. You can buy and sell as long as you're doing so in a law-abiding way. And it's just a great community. So I encourage anyone to join us because really, we learn from each other. So different states have fought for their rights and have been successful, and we learn from them, and they are welcome to learn from us.
All right. All right, perfect. And I see in the YouTube chat there, Trish, you had mentioned there's a link for the forum. Travis, you are a moderator. I think I can figure out how to make Trish a moderator. If you want to go ahead and add that link right to that chat, Trish, you should now have the power to do such a thing.
Okay, I'll do that right now.
So that we can go ahead and get all of the in and out of state members that we can. Also on the side here, I see that Detroit standing with us. So Motown is in the house. Thanks, Aldo, for the support. We appreciate it. All right, so thanks very much for that, Garrett and Trish. And Mr. P11, what closing thoughts would you have, sir?
I just want to see everybody out there that can make it. I don't care if you're just a hunter. I don't care if you're just a competition shooter. Don't think they won't come for your guns because it starts with things like bump stocks, and then it works its way up down the food chain. And then before you know, we're using slingshots and knives and fists just to go to the corner store. I'm going to be live streaming the speeches as they happen on my YouTube channel. That's Traps P11. And then I'll eventually get those moved over to the gun channel side. I'll try to get them over there, but I'm not going to be doing the whole thing. So I don't know if I can run 3 hours on one battery or with my data limits, but I'm going to do the speeches. I'll definitely air them in real time, and I'll interact with people as they're watching. I won't be talking, but I'll be able to type and respond to you guys. So it will be happening at that time. So I will be there. I want to see everybody there. I think it's going to be great. Get the word out. It's time for people to start stepping up and just be responsible gun owners and be Second Amendment advocates. So yeah, and I want to thank Garrett and Trish again for coming over here and hanging out. It's awesome to see you guys and get to talk to you guys. And I think it's gonna be a great time. Should be a lot of fun.
All right, amen. All right, so yeah, and as we lose we go from automatic weapons to semi-autos to bolt actions to muskets to slingshots. to knives. You know, not every country even gets knives right now. It sounds like the UK is working, or at least the city of London is working on taking away the knives too. So where does it end? At what point will they stop taking things away from us? I just don't see where this can go anywhere except for to a very bad place unless we put our foot down. So again, thanks everybody for joining us. Those of you who are watching, if you like what you're seeing, if I've made any sense at all, feel free to go ahead and subscribe to my channel. That's not enough. If you want to see when I go live or when I put videos up, you have to click the little bell as well to let you know that enable those notifications and let you know that that's happening. But again, you can join the NFOA. You can find us on eventually on Sandhill Shooter channel. Definitely live. Hopefully the whole rally on Travis P11 on Saturday, 1 o'clock Central Time. Again, that's 2 Eastern, noon Rocky Mountain Time, and then 11 o'clock Pacific, and earlier than that, Alaska and Hawaii. I can't do the math.
Arizona people, I don't know.
Arizona people, it depends, I don't know, and Ohio people, I believe, as well. Don't
be
do
difficult.
the
Gotta be difficult.
So yeah, you guys are goofing me up even worse. I can't think like that this late at night. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us. And what do we say at the end of our chats? Adios, Felicia. Is that what it is, Travis?
Oh yeah, goodbye, Felicia, or adios, Felicia. You know.
All right. Goodbye.
Yep, right on.